Hey everybody. So I wanted to get on here because this month I'm pretty much talking about emotions and how they're playing a role in our eating behaviors and our body goals. And so I just kind of want to do a quick little sort of session here and talk about why emotions are so important. I've been a nutrition coach for almost 15 years now, and I've really sort of done it all. And I've come to realize that it's actually like not about food, especially for women, especially women over 35. Like emotions play such a huge role, and I want to talk about how that is. What role do emotions play, and why is it essential for us to learn how to train our emotions to create the body goals that we have. I think a lot of people don't really stop and consider the role that emotions play on our body goals, and why they have like certain and why they have the body, or how the emotions create the body they have or don't have. So emotions are important to our body goals for three reasons. Okay, number one, they define the experience of our life. So regardless of your day, our emotions determine our experience. So meaning that everything could be going right in your day, meaning you could be on vacation, you could have the body of your dreams, you could have all the money in the world, you could have the best relationships, and still be caught in an experience of sadness or frustration or depression, anxiety, overwhelm, guilt, shame, etc. So the outside circumstances of your life really mean nothing because you're still in a place of pain. Likewise, at the same time, you could be having, like, everything could be going wrong in your day. You could be having the worst day and have absolutely no reason to feel great. Maybe the number on the scale isn't what you'd like it to see, or like to see, or you don't know when the next paycheck is coming, or maybe you're dealing with some relationship issues, or you or some family members have some health issues. You essentially have a lot of evidence of why you should feel bad, why you should feel some type of pain. But we can still, the thing is, what most people don't realize is we can still choose to feel at peace. We can still choose to feel joy. We can still choose to feel grateful or inspired or passionate. For example, because this is something that my clients and I work with, because we know that emotions drive our eating behaviors. But anyway, so one of my clients, her car broke down the other day on the highway. I think it totally took a digger, it's no longer running. And she missed appointments, and she could have chose to be really upset and frustrated and let it ruin her whole day, her whole week. But she chose to be happy and make it an experience. She chose joy, and she chose to make it an adventure. And she was only able to do that because because that's what we've trained. We've given her the ability to manage her emotions, so that she has the choice on how she wants to respond, because we realize what it's going to create in the future. So again, outside circumstances don't determine our experience. Most people would react in that situation very differently if their car broke down on the highway. They could have and most people, if shit hit the fan, they would have had this domino effect of, getting stressed out, lashing out at the husband or the kids, then overeating because they're stressed out. And food makes you feel better, right? And then as a result of overeating, then you have guilt for overeating. And as a result of that, you end up starving yourself, and around the merry-go-round, around the merry-go-round you go. Okay. And so you can learn how to train your emotional capacity, like my clients have. And as a result, you can make your day, or you can stay out of that emotional eating, binge, starving cycle, right? That a lot of us play, which brings me to my next point. The second, the role that emotions play in our body goals, especially for women, is because it determines whether we're in a fat burning state or a fat storing state. Now, many people talk about the stress of working out too much, under eating, under sleeping, but few people actually really talk about the effects of emotional stress. And more importantly, like, what do we do about it? How do we manage it, right? Like, I mean, that's the biggest question. Everybody talks about stress, but it's like, well, how do we manage it, you know? So, you know, whether you're getting chased by a bear or your dog just pissed on the floor on your brand new carpet, you know, the body's going to see it all as the same thing, and it's going to respond in the same exact way. It'll respond with increased adrenaline and noradrenaline, which is going to release a bunch of blood sugar in your body, into the bloodstream, which is going to release a bunch of insulin to lower the blood sugar. Okay, which insulin is a fat storing hormone. So the problem with that is most people are living in a constant perpetual state of stress, of anxiety, of overwhelm, of frustration, of sadness, of disappointment, of guilt, of shame. And so as a result of that, because they don't know how to choose otherwise, they're constantly releasing this fat storing hormone, which causes them to be in a fat storing state all the time, regardless of how hard you're working out. In fact, if you end up working out a lot, you can literally that will just make it worse. Like, I literally was training for the CrossFit Games and I gained weight despite eating very little. So stress can make you fat. And because that constant release of insulin is just making you a fat storing machine. So any food that you do eat ends up being, it doesn't, the surge of insulin pumping through your body from all the stress, from all the emotional stress, makes you a fat storing machine. And anytime that you eat. And so the absolute worst thing that you can do is really eat when you're feeling stress, anxiety, overwhelm, sadness, guilt, shame, etc. But if you don't eat, then that actually causes more stress. It actually causes physical stress. So it's just this gnarly trap that you can get stuck in. So if you don't know how to get out of the emotional state of sadness, anxiety, overwhelm, frustration, guilt, shame, etc., unworthiness, then you're just in a continuous fat storing state, which, because most people don't know how to not be stressed or how to change their emotional experience, how to switch from anxiety to peace or guilt to love. Most people don't have the tools to do that. So that's the second reason. The third role that our emotions play in our body is the influence that on the actions that we take, right? Or don't take. So think back to a time where food was really easy. Like, you didn't think about food at all. It was so easy for you to choose the healthier option when you had the cookies in front of you. You had an abundant amount of energy and you wanted to go on a walk and go outside and play and just like move and work out. And, on that day, just think back to the last time you had that day. Maybe it was recently, maybe it was 5 years ago. Chances are you felt happy, you felt joyful, you felt a sense of peace or gratitude on that day. And that's the role that emotions can play. Same thing goes for, a bad day or whatever. Like, think back to a day where food was extremely difficult. Like, it took, you just were taking so much willpower to hold yourself back. You felt tempted all day long. You couldn't choose the healthier option. You wanted the sweets, the carbs, etc. You ate when you weren't hungry, and just ate out of impulse. And when you did eat, you couldn't stop yourself. You didn't know, like, when you were full. And so ask yourself, like, how did I feel on that day? What was I experiencing then? What was the emotion that I was feeling? Chances are you were feeling anxious or upset or overwhelmed or sad or guilt or shame. Okay. And we tend to not make very good decisions when we feel that way, when we're feeling bad, and we make better decisions when we're feeling, quote unquote, good, and, decisions that align with our body goals, right? So emotions literally end up that's how emotions are literally creating the body we have and the experience we have with food. Okay. And we have the ability, if you have the right tools and, if you have the right tools and systems, we have the ability to train our emotions that is going to create the body that we want and the experience of life that we want. Most people just don't have those tools. And I think that this is specifically like super important for women, because women are very sensitive to stress. Like, you are already in a more fat storing state as you get older, right? Our body just, it's not as resilient to stress anymore, whether that be physical or emotional stress. And so as a woman over 35, you really need to, you're going to really see the benefit if you can learn how to manage your emotions so that you're not just reacting to life like most people, and staying in this fat storing state. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea on, how emotions are playing a role on our body goals. I'm doing several podcasts right now to help get this information out. If you guys want to, check out some of my products, go to the link in my bio. I've got a few different products right now, and I'm going to be actually releasing a really special new product coming soon. Those of you guys that are, like what you hear, and this is like, oh my gosh, like this makes sense. If you've been struggling with emotional eating or have these patterns around food that you just can't get a grip on, definitely reach out to me and we can talk about what some one-on-one coaching looks like. I've got a few spots open right now, so definitely just reach out to me. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.